Howdy YouTube, a really exciting review today. We're taking a look at what is probably my favorite Venom figure of all time, and that is from the Spider-Man 3 movie line, Venom. So a bit of backstory, I grew up in the 90s, a great time. I think definitely a strong case can be made that it is the best time in human history to grow up. No threat of nuclear war from the Russians. Great superhero movies. Well, actually, really, the 90s was heap of cheesy, but some good superhero movies. In particular, the Batman movies stand out to me. Loved watching those, and that's part of what got me into DC and Batman, obviously. And by the time the 2000s hit, we were old enough to comprehend superhero movies like Spider-Man and just how poorly written and made the new Star Wars movies were. Also, introduction of great video games, the Nintendo 64 and the PlayStation, things that current generations do not get to experience. So I'm very happy. Now, how does that relate to Spider-Man? Well, in the 90s, we got great Batman movies. But in the early 2000s, I think the original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire came out, and that was the shit. I remember at school, it didn't matter how smart you were, how good at sport you were. If you had not seen that movie, you were a nobody. Needless to say, that movie came out with a whole heap of merchandise. The second movie, of course, with Doc Ock was a great movie. That's probably my favorite in the series. Really love that. When the third movie came out, I was old enough to know a bit about Venom. Super excited for that movie. Really keen, pumped, went and seen it. And you see the movie, and Spider-Man is a complete dick in that movie. Tobey Maguire, I think, is awful, especially the scenes where he's in the suit and just flashing off and everything. That was really cringeworthy stuff. Then Eddie Brock's in it for the last 10 minutes, and he's awesome. Venom is great in that film. I think visually, that is the best looking Venom of all time. I love it. The only problem is, obviously, he's not in the movie long enough. So that was a real shame, but that's why I was so keen to get my hands on this particular figure, because it is, of course, the Eddie Brock Venom from the Spider-Man movie. This guy was released a couple of times in alternate paint schemes. I've got my hands on one that was released a few years later as part of just the normal Spider-Man's Legends line, I think it was called, which would ultimately become the Marvel Legends and spin off with the Marvel Select and that sort of stuff as well. A really cool looking figure. I'm very excited to get it opened up and out of packaging. In terms of packaging, we get a shot of Spider-Man on the top there and then Venom at the bottom. So let's get this guy opened up. And taking a look at the back of the packaging, the other reason I really wanted to get this is I love the Marvel Select scale of figures, but the detailed articulation and the characters that they released for the Marvel Legends line, I think, are much better. So I was looking for something in between that was kind of best of both worlds, and this Venom looks like it. The reason for that is, as you can see, the scale of him is huge, quite a lot larger than the standard Marvel Legends figure. I'm hoping he stacks up nicely to the Diamond Select Venom. The read-up on the back says, "A crazed, shapeless alien from outer space. All the symbiotes ever wanted on Earth was a home. It thought it found one with Spider-Man, but the hero's reception gave it a thirst for something new. Revenge. Dun, dun, dun. Now it's found a new host, Eddie Brock, and together, man and alien combine to become the terrifying Venom." Spider-Man, the animated series from the 90s. If you haven't checked that out, do yourself a massive favor and watch that. In particular, the Venom episodes. They did release a DVD that had the Venom Carnage episodes from that show. Really great stuff. Other figures in the set, we've got the Green Goblin. I wish I still had that figure. The Doc Ock, also wish I still had that. And the new Goblin, I never picked up because I really didn't like him in the movie. But in hindsight, I wish I'd picked up. So let's get Venom opened up. And here we've got Venom opened up and out of packaging. He looks freaking awesome. In terms of accessories, he comes with the Venom spider string goo kind of thing, which also came with the Same Wave Carnage figure. If you haven't seen my review on that, you can check that out on my channel. Really awesome. I'll bring in the other Venom figures to compare in a second, but let's take a look at the great detail on the face of this guy. That is exceptional. Look at the detail around the eyes, around the mask. I love this. I love the detail on the side of the face. with him. You can see there, I love all the, you know, muscular type feel that it's got. The nice detail on the teeth, the tongue, everything like that. It is a cool looking figure. No matter what anyone says about the movie, I think Venom visually looked perfect in that film. This really is, for me, how Venom should look. The comics, he looks great too, but there's just something about this appearance that looks excellent. It really, like, I hope it comes across on camera. It looks great. Moving down as well, you can see all the detail of the suit. I think it looks cool because it's kind of like a realistic type Venom in the sense that you can see the detail there, the webbing of the suit and everything. Moving down, taking a look on the back. I really like it. The other thing I love about Venom is he's always a much bulkier character than Spider-Man. Looks a lot physically, you know, more imposing and a lot stronger. And that's always nice to see as well, especially with a villain. I really hope that they give this guy his own movie, or at least have him in a movie again. I know they haven't, you know, stayed the course with Spider-Man lately. They rebooted him again with the new Captain America coming out. The Spider-Man franchise really is a mess, if I'm honest. And what they need to do is just make standalone movies that focus on one particular villain at a time, rather than trying to cram in too much and then the movies end up being garbage, which I feel Spider-Man has a really bad habit of doing. In terms of articulation, this guy's got a lot, which is awesome. Ball-jointed head, ball-jointed arms, swivel in the bicep, double bend at the elbow, ball-jointed wrists. He's got ball-jointed waist. He's got ball-jointed legs, ball-jointed thighs, double bend in the knee, and ball-jointed ankles. So a ton of movement and articulation there, which is what you want in any Spider-Man figure. And just for comparison, I've brought in the Scorpion Venom figure. That's one of my favorite figures of all time, by the way. If you find that, absolutely a must-have. Just so you guys can see, I guess, the difference between like a more comic-themed Venom and a realistic movie version. You can see they are about the same height. The movie-themed Venom is slightly taller, but that's because of the sculpt on the Scorpion Venom is sort of naturally hunched over. Both are great figures. Both have great detail. I still prefer this movie one, but I guess it comes down to personal preference. And again, another close-up look of Venom. You can see, hopefully, the size comparison between some of the other figures. He is obviously taller than the old-school Transformers Venom, and he is, unfortunately, much to my dismay, quite a bit shorter than the Diamond Select Venom. There is a huge difference there, which is a real shame, because I was hoping this figure, if this figure was the same size as that, it would be perfect. Hands down, no questions. I'm not a fan of the smaller figures for whatever reason, just personally I don't like them. They are the better figures to have, personally, in terms of detail and everything like that. I know everyone gives the Diamond Select Venom a big rap. Mine has a terrible time standing, and that's part of why it frustrates me a lot. Yes, that is a better comic book themed Venom. I'm a massive sucker for this guy though. I love the way he looks. I love the articulation. I love the detail on everything. And I actually enjoyed Venom's appearance in the movie. Let me know your favorite appearance of Venom. Which, attire or scheme do you like? Do you prefer a more realistic Venom or a comic book style Venom? Let me know in the comments below. More reviews coming, and I hope you guys enjoyed this review on the Spider-Man Venom.